Yay! And we're live! Huzzah! Welcome everybody to my Twitch today. My name is Heather R. Hitchman. I am an artist and world builder, creator of the paranormal fairy tale realm of Terratoff. You can find out more about me and my work by visiting the links below. Patreon is the main hub for all things Terratoff. It's also the only place in the whole wide internet where you can become an official Terratoffian. So by visiting patreon.com/Terratoff and making a pledge, even if your pledge is just $1, you officially become a Terratoffian and a patron of mine, and help me to continue to make all of the art and stories for this realm that I'm creating. If you'd like to get daily updates, check me out on Instagram and Twitter. I post art and pictures of my plants and cats there. And just random musings of my day. I also have a YouTube channel that I am building up with content that will have all of these videos that I'm twitching and some story time videos and other fun things from the realm. And of course, I must also say that I have an Etsy store where you can get prints and originals and other fun Terratoff things from my store. So, welcome to my Twitch today. How is everybody doing? It's Halloween time, so I'm very excited for that because I love Halloween. And we're in our new apartment, so I've been doing a little bit of like a shopping spree at Michael's like every other weekend, because like their Halloween stuff just keeps getting more and more discounted, and I'm like, I gotta have it. I gotta have that Halloween stuff. So I keep getting Halloween decorations and putting them in the apartment. I'll show you guys one that I got. That was actually in some videos I recorded earlier today. Hold on a second. So this is one of the new pieces I've acquired for my spooky collection. It is a unicorn skull. It's totally real. And I just love it. It's so cool. It's actually not going to be used as a Halloween decoration. It's just going to be like a permanent piece of decor in my office, in my art studio. That's how much I love this thing. It can't talk though because it has no tongue, because it's just a skull. So it can't talk back to me, but it can nod yes and shake his head no. So if you want to talk to the skull, let me know. He can answer yes and no questions. So that's what I've been doing. And I've also been designing some enamel pins. Enamel pins are a really hot item right now. They've been really popular for the past couple of years. I'm kind of coming up slow on the pin game, but I have one pin, so now I'm working to add more to my repertoire of pins. And I am going with a holiday theme because the Kickstarter is planning to go live in November. So I'm very excited for that. And I wanted to talk to you guys today, show you some of the designs that I've been working on, talk a little bit about the process. These pins are very special to me because they feature two of the most beloved Christmassy holiday characters from my paranormal fairy tale realm of Terratoff, and they were inspired by some really fun memories of my childhood. So first, let's start at the beginning. So first thing I needed to do was decide what art I wanted to make into some pins. So let's start off by showing you what the original pencil artwork looked like. So these were the original drawings. I made them, wow, really, in 2000? Okay. I thought that was a 4. It's a 7. I was like, there's no way I made these in 2014. I made these back in 2017 for like a little mini Christmas collection. So it was just like the two of them. And I made them so that like the circles were the same size and they were kind of facing each other. So they're kind of like bookends. And they were purposely designed to kind of complement one another. So they are both in, these characters are called Sugar Plum, the unicorn, on the right, and we have Marley, the Filigree Stag, on the left. So these were inspired by two of my favorite holiday stories. So Sugar Plum, as you might have guessed, is inspired by the Sugar Plum Fairy. And when we were kids, my sister and I did ballet. She did ballet much longer than I did. But every year around Christmas time, they would do a performance of the Nutcracker. And so it became a story that I really held close to my heart, and I really love the Nutcracker story and the whimsy and darkness of it. And so that particular story is the inspiration behind Sugar Plum, the unicorn. Sugar Plum, the Sugar Plum Fairy, of course. And then on the left we have Marley, whose name you might recognize from Jacob Marley from the Christmas Carol. When I was a kid, I was not so good at the ballet, so I transitioned into acting. So I did some theater as a kid, and one of the shows that I did once, I was one of the kids in A Christmas Carol. I was like Tiny Tim's older sister or something like that. And so I also really love Christmas Carol. And Jacob Marley's character is particularly cool to me because he's like the first ghost that you get to meet. So I kind of created Marley based on that character. Let me read you guys their stories, because then you'll kind of get a little bit more what the characters are about and how these Christmas stories inspired me. The Filigree Stags are an old and wise race, often sharing knowledge of the ages with others that need it. Their ways are both charming and mysterious, and the stag, known as Marley, is no exception. Marley appears to those who have lost their way. Like a friendly spirit, he guides them back to what matters most. Be it family, a loved one, or even back home, Marley's gentle coaxing always brings the lost back to where they belong. He is often spotted in the winter months, where the harsh cold and snow often makes hearts grow most weary. So, I took the whole kind of guiding spirit concept to inspire this guy's story. And then when it came to our friend Sugar Plum here, her story goes like this. There are tales of a hidden forest, a magical place where a celebration like no other occurs just once a year when the first snow falls. The unicorns gather to feast on candied fruit and dance in the snow. The leader of this celebration is known as the Sugar Plum Unicorn. She wears a crown of plums and winter greens around her neck and begins the celebration with a traditional festival dance under the stars. Although the night may be dark, the forest is dotted with sparkling lights glowing from hundreds of unicorn horns, lighting up with joy for the dance of Sugar Plum. So she's a dancing unicorn like the Sugar Plum Fairy. So might be kind of obvious, but there it is. I thought it was cute. So I liked these two as a pair because I really wanted to keep this Kickstarter kind of simple, because it's been a while since I've done a Kickstarter, so I kind of wanted to rev up for the book I have coming out next year with a smaller practice one. So why did I pick these particular designs? Well, the first thing that I needed to consider when I was making these pins was the line art, because when you're making pins, in general, every color needs an outline. So whenever like you change a color, it needs to be completely outlined. There are some tricks that you can do to get around that, but they usually cost more money. So I tend to like to just use the line art method. So in looking at these two designs, I saw that most of the separate colors are isolated with completely closed off line art, or those that weren't, I could easily add line art to close it up. There were some places that I was going to have to, give up. So for example, Sugar Plum here, she's got a pink nose. So in order to make her nose pink, but keep the rest of her coat white, I would have to draw a line here to separate those two colors when they put the paint in. And that would look really bad. So I just decided I would keep her all white and leave the pink to the ears and not so much worry about having littler details like that. But there were some places where I could make it work. So here on Marley's eye, this patch around his eye is kind of opened, but it didn't look weird to me to close that. So I went ahead and I closed that with the line art phase. And just looking in general, I thought that these designs, because they're portraits, would be easier to simplify for the purpose of a pin. So the more complicated the pin is, the longer they take to make, and the more opportunity for, what's the word? Opportunity for revision can come up. And my fancy butt just loves to get really delicate and detailed with the line art. So this is a challenge for me. So I had to kind of work on this design to make it simplified as well. But I had a good starting point because the designs themselves, for what I do, this is pretty simple. So first step first, after getting the original artwork sorted out, let me take a few steps back, was to do the line art. Yay! So this is the line art that I ended up with, and I wanted to send the manufacturer the line art by itself first because, oops, let me get that hand tool, because this is where things tend to go awry when you're working with pin manufacturers, especially when you're working with pin manufacturers overseas. There is a language barrier, so it's sometimes challenging to communicate the finer details of what you want. So if you can make the design simple to understand, then that really helps with the manufacturer being able to make the pin that you actually want. So this was what the final pin design looked like. I did these in Photoshop. You can use Illustrator as well. It's probably better for final manufacturing to use Illustrator, but I just don't like using Illustrator at all, so I would rather just hand trace it in Photoshop personally. Let me make sure, where am I? So remember how I mentioned earlier that everything needs to be in sections? Well, so that's what I did here. Like every single thing that I want to be colored a different color is closed off. So you'll notice that there's not a whole lot of floating lines here that don't mean anything. Like we've got a couple little lines here to designate some fur tufts, but all of these lines are completely closed, and those all represent different colors that are going to be in here. So let me just give you guys a closer look at all of the different lines. Hey Isis mermaiding about, welcome. So happy to have you. How are you doing? And how's Baby Bat? Is Baby Bat with you? Then over here we have the line art for Marley. Marley was a little easier because I didn't have to really change too much of the design to get him done. The one thing that was kind of a challenge was doing like these little poofy balls that are in his hair, or his antlers. So here you can see like he's got these little kind of, I'm not sure what they are actually. There's kind of like little poofs of growth from some sort of twig or something that I thought looked Christmassy. So doing all those little lines and trying to get the color to stay inside would be complicated. So I just made them simple circles for the sake of manufacturing. Oh my goodness. It's Creaturist! Hi! How are you? It's been a while since I've seen you around. Wow, look at that star emote. It's so nice to see you. Welcome. How are you doing? Are you doing any Halloween preparations? And here you can see all of the lines, again, are closed. I closed up that patch of fur around his eyeball. And I simplified the filigree a little bit. Like, there's some floating lines here, but I wanted to make sure that they weren't creating too many tangents or floating too close to an edge, because it would be difficult to fill that in with paint. So I tried to simplify how many floating lines and stuff that we had. So I sent these to the manufacturer, just the line art, because I wanted to make sure that the line art was something that they could use. Also, I made sure to check the size with this, because there is nothing worse than spending a lot of time designing a really, really tiny pin, and then when you go to like look at it, you can't read it because it's so small. Leafy Arts is here. Hello. Hello, welcome Leafy Arts. It's so good to see you. Creature says, hi, I'm doing I'm doing very deep in Halloween. I'm prepping a Halloween online party puppet show for my day job. Lots of 2D graphics and music to modify from stock footage, turning into fun games. That sounds awesome! I'm thinking for Halloween that I'm going to do an open house on my Animal Crossing island. And I've hijacked Tad's account and his house on Animal Crossing, and I'm turning it into a haunted house. So it's going to have like all these haunted house spooky themed rooms, and I'm working on that right now in time for Halloween. So that's my Halloween preparation. I have gotten some decorations, but decorating more on Animal Crossing than I am here. Leafy says, I just got home from work. It's been a long day. Oh no. What did you do today? Was it a bad day? I hope not. I hope it was just a busy day. It's been a busy day for me too. Friday is my video day, so I've been doing a lot of videos. What was I saying? Oh yes, so figuring out the size. So my tip for this, if you're designing a pin, is to, once you're finished with the line art, shrink it down to the size in the viewer here. You'll see in Photoshop I have a navigator, and I kind of get it close to what would actually be on this ruler. So I'll hold the ruler up to my Cintiq and I'll be like, okay, so if this thing was 2 inches, how would it look? And then that can give me a good idea of how it's gonna look, like at an eyeball kind of way. But if I really want to make sure that I like how the art looks, what I do is I print it out and I make sure I print it to scale, and then I look at the pins and check them out from there. We got a bloody Elizabeth in the chat. Oh my. Leafy Arts, I did the same thing. Oh my god. I fell and busted my knee and ankle, then messed up my back when I freaked out over my FedEx guy because he walked in with blood running down his face from the delivery cart he whacked himself in the face with. You had a very dramatic day. Oh my god. But Leafy, that's so funny that, well, it's not funny, but it's such a coincidence that you fell and hurt yourself, because a few weeks ago on my morning walk, I actually tripped on nothing and busted my knee and twisted my ankle really, really bad. And I like had to sit and do nothing for a few days, and it sucked because like when I'm sitting, I like to sit on one of my feet, and I couldn't sit on my left foot because it killed my knee, and I couldn't sit on my right foot because it killed my ankle. So mostly now my knee is healed. Like there's a little bit of scab left, but it's pretty much healed up. My ankle still hurts a little bit. It's still a little bit sore. Baby Bat says hi and they love you. Hi, Baby Bat! I love you too. I hope you're having a good day. Creature says that makes you pain sisters. It does. It makes us pain sisters. Blah. This is one of my Halloween decorations, by the way. If you guys weren't here earlier in the chat, this is what it looked like. Leafy says, I didn't trip. I accidentally got distracted looking at some guy walking his dog. And I stepped on the pavement wrong, so my ankle buckled badly, and down I went. Landed so hard on my knee, I felt it bounce. Oh, ow. Leafy, were you rubbernecking? Were you rubbernecking that guy walking his dogs? Was he cute, or were you looking at the dogs? Because, you know, it's okay to look at dogs. Dogs are cute sometimes. Sometimes they're scary if they're really big and bark really loud. Isis says, I'm still recovering from tearing all the ligaments in my ankle last December. Refuse to step on my cat or fall down the stairs. Why are all of us ruining our ankles? Man, we need like an Ankles Anonymous group or something. I just feel so old because had this happened to me like when I was in my 20s, I would have bounced back like that. I actually did fall down a flight of stairs at a party when I was in college. I was in my early 20s, and we were all having a party at my friend's house in the Poconos, and I had a little bit of alcohol, and I just fell, and my ankle was killing me, but like 2 days later, I was fine. Now, it's been like 2 weeks, and I'm still sore. Leafy says, yes, girl. Isis says, oh, and Salamonster, my son, says hi, and he loves you too. I got Salamonster to come out to play. Hi, Salamonster. I love you too. I hope you're also having a good day. Ankles Anonymous, we meet at the physical therapist offices. In the Poconos, they dance, says Creature. The Poconos is like a mountain range in... Is it in New Jersey? Oh, God. I think it's in New Jersey, or it might be Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure it's in New Jersey. I should know because I grew up around there. Also sounds like some weird Victorian group. Yes, because the ankles are so forbidden. So after I've made sure that the line art is good, then I start experimenting with color. So you guys want to see what some of the colors looked like? Let me see if I got them in here. Okay. So at first I experimented with like a black and white kind of scheme, and I liked it, and I think it would have worked, but I didn't know if it was like my favorite colors ever. Catherine, the very great, is here. Hello, Catherine. Welcome. Catherine is also involved with these pins, guys. She is the wonderful creative genius behind Beowulf Books, and that is the company that I am partnering with to make these pins. So thank you, Catherine. Welcome. Hi, Unicorn Sister. I'm so happy to see you. Leafy says 30s is the worst. Everything hurts. Ibuprofen becomes breakfast. And God forbid you sleep wrong. Yes. Now I have to have like a pyramid pillow to make sure that I don't tweak my neck every night when I sleep. It's actually been like a really good investment because it's so helped me get restful sleep and not wake up feeling like achy in the morning. But God, I feel old having to have a pillow like that. So this was the first kind of attempt at possible colors. And, you know, like, they're nice, but I thought that, you know, we could do better. So we kept experimenting, and we came up with this idea of just making the backgrounds gold, just making it solid metal like I did with my fairy pin. Let me see if I have one around here I can show you. I don't. So if you look in my Etsy store, you can see the fairy pin and see how that looks with the solid gold background. And I really liked it because, one, gold is super Christmassy, holiday. Like, I feel like gold goes with kind of any holiday, and it's not so much restricted to just Christmas colors like red and green are. Also, I just love gold, so I was like all about that. And gold looked good on both of them. The problem with trying to design these pins so that they went well together was that a background color that looked good on one might not look so good on the other because they have such different color schemes, and because one, Marley, is really dark and the unicorn is really light. So I felt gold was a really good solution. My good friend Catherine agreed, and this is what we settled on for the open edition design. Let me catch up with the chat. Catherine says, girl, I'm feeling so old right now. I know, me too. It's a struggle to get these old bones up every day. Isis also recommends orthopedic pillows. And Levy says, yes, Amazon has great ones. Yep, that's where I got mine. The interesting thing about getting the triangle pillow, are they called an orthopedic pillow? Is that what they're called? I call it a pyramid pillow. Was trying to find a pillowcase for it. But I did find a pillowcase, so I was happy about that. Leafy says they were 38 last month. Isis, you just turned 35 this week? Your birthday's not so far away from mine and Catherine's. Happy birthday! My birthday was last week, and so was Catherine's birthday. Creature says, I'm in my 40s. I sleep marvelously well. Well, thanks for bragging. Got rid of my insomnia when I plugged a wire into the actual dirt basement, connecting it to a grounded mat in my bed. Huh. I've never heard of that before. Leafy says early 30s weren't so bad. After 35 is rough. I just turned 35. It's all downhill from here. It's called grounding earthing. I'm gonna have to look that up later. Isis says, I messed my body up early with competitive dance, gymnastics, and figure skating. Ah. Yeah, I used to do like more physical stuff like that when I was a kid. Like I did gymnastics for a while and I did dance, but if I'm not good at a thing, I don't like doing it. So I wasn't that good. So I was like, nah, I'm done with this. So I moved on with my life, but I had good memories. Catherine is wishing Isis a happy birthday. The 14th. That's like 5 days after my birthday. Birthday sisters. That means I'm older than you. I feel even older now. Leafy says, horseback riding and being accident prone and falling upstairs, not downstairs, up. I have interesting ways of destroying myself. That sounds like a talent. I'm going to have to see that. David completely messed up for from gymnastics, says Catherine. Yeah, I'm glad I got out of that when I was young then. And Creature says, I'm turning 40, 4D, 1 week before Halloween. We have so many October birthdays here. Happy birthday, everyone in the chat. Give yourself a birthday hug. Birthday hugs. Yay. October spoopy babies for the win. Yes, Isis. You broke your foot last time. Oh, no. It is because we're the best. Catherine, October birthdays are awesome. And I love being a Libra. It's the best. So after we settled on the gold for the open edition, we wanted to have a limited edition version too. And so sorry, I skipped ahead. This is the final design for the gold pins, and you will notice that the difference here is before I had the snowflakes outlined and they were filled with white. But then I realized that if we're going to do an all gold background, then that might not work because there's a good chance they're not going to be able to bevel the lines like this. So we found out if they could do screen printing, and we found out that the manufacturer could. So now we've got the snowflakes screen printed white on top, and I think it's going to look so freaking cool when we get to see these in person. October is absolutely the best. So once we had figured that out, we started to think about what the limited edition one would be. And we both liked, let me turn on the line art. We both wanted to have a color with some glitter. Catherine really wanted blue, and I honestly wasn't sold on the blue. But we figured out a blue that worked for both of us. And she mentioned that it reminded her of snow. And I was like, actually, that does work. I think that the blue is going to work. And we picked a blue that I felt looked nice on both of them. So it's kind of like a desaturated blue. And we're going to fill all of that with glitter and some of the other areas like this bell and these bells over here. And I think we're doing some of these little like poppy bits coming off of Marley and Sugar Plum's horn. Thank you so much for those bits, Creature. You obey? I'm just going to have to make your candy bot pop up with that more often. So, let me show you guys. Oh, wait. Before I jump to that, these are the different colors that we picked. Now, usually when I do these, I have a different manufacturer that I can look at a color library here. Like Photoshop is great because it gives you a bunch of different color libraries of different Pantone colors. But I guess my version of Photoshop is really old because I do not have that color profile. So I had to use this. They just sent me an image with all of the different colors they had, which was kind of a pain in the butt because I had to eyedrop and fill everything. So it took a little longer than I normally would take. However, it was necessary and we got it done. Usually when I'm picking colors, what I'll do is I'll just color it in with whatever colors I like and just follow my intuition, and then I'll go back to like the list of colors that I can use and pick from there. Catherine says it's like one of those freezing snowy days. Yes, it is. So, and again, it's more kind of holiday neutral. So it could be Christmas, it could be Hanukkah, it could be whatever you like, which I kind of like to keep in mind because I like to include everybody in the holiday fun because there's lots of different holidays going on around the same time and they're all very important. Yule, yes. Yule is one of them. Yuletide, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I'm sure there's more. I just don't know all of them. Damn Skippy. What kind of holidays do all of you guys celebrate for the winter season? I do Christmas. I'm doing more research because I would like to start working in more Yule traditions in with my holiday celebrations as well. I grew up in New Jersey, and a lot of my friends growing up were Jewish, so I saw like a lot of Hanukkah stuff as well. I got to participate with like the dreidel and that kind of fun stuff. What kind of holiday traditions do you guys have? Creature says it could be I'm not rot infected yet day. It could totally be that. Catherine says we do Yule and Christmas. Very cool. Isis says, I celebrate Yule myself. I do more Christmassy things for the kids. Aw, that's very cute. Yeah, my family doesn't really do Yule. We've always done like a very traditional Christmas, but I'm definitely starting to research more about Yule and working some of those traditions into what we do. Tad's family celebrates, I guess, what I would call a secular Christmas. So that's the kind of holidays that I celebrate. And it's still one of my favorite times of year because I just feel like whatever holiday you're celebrating, this time of year, people just seem to be so much more full of goodwill and like charity and happiness, and everyone's like really excited to see their family and get and give gifts and just be merry. So I just feel like there's a magic in the air that like everybody at once is all kind of coming together in their own way to celebrate this time of year. So I really love this time. It's just so magical in a way. Creature says, damn it, Tad, how dare you not be brainwashed? Leafy says, I celebrate Boxing Day because discounts. Boxing Day! That's British! I don't really do anything special for Boxing Day other than just keep celebrating with like my other presents and stuff. I think the traditional way of celebrating Boxing Day is like you rebox stuff or something. It was back in the Victorian times, the servants would use the discarded boxes from their patrons, or not their patrons, from the houses that they worked in, and would recycle them to package their own gifts because they all had to work on Christmas to tend to the family. Yes, Tad?
Just come in and check it out.
Hi.
I heard you talking crap.
We're talking about you. We're just talking about the different holidays that we celebrate for like the winter time of year, and I said that your family celebrates like a secular Christmas. Would you say that that's accurate?
Okay, I'm gonna sound really dumb on stream. What do you mean a secular Christmas?
Secular means not religious.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We actually do 2 Christmases. One Christmas...
Come down and say hi. Tell the chat.
My hair is greasy and I am not chat.
That's okay. I'll be beautiful for you.
Nah, with Christmas time in my family, we do 2 Christmases. One Christmas at my grandmother's, another one at our house. So therefore... Oh, hi, Catherine! So, Christmas was always great when I was a kid.
Yes, look at your hair.
I know.
It's so pretty.
Hey, Leafy! I miss everyone's faces too.
Leafy says no one can tell your hair is greasy on video. It's just brushed.
It's not brushed, it's been in a hat.
Creature says get yourself a head.
But anyway. You can call it 90s wet look. That is my generation.
Ooh, Catherine says that she likes to do a house cleansing and protection for the winter months. That sounds really nice. Creature says Boxing Day is useful only if you have boxing gear. I suppose that's true. I'm going to bring the camera back down since you're too big. You're too tall.
I'm too tall.
You want to hang out with me for a little bit?
Yeah, I got enough hair. I can pull my hair back. I can do the hipster bun.
He can do the hipster bun. It's going to be longer than me. Longer than my hair soon.
But anyway, I'll leave you be.
Okay. It was nice to see you. Thanks for visiting my Twitch.
That's what I'm here for. This to make sporadic and... Ow.
If you're going to be here, we should be here.
You should make your camera a little bit bigger so...
I can't make the camera bigger.
Or this little screen.
It's not... It's the viewport. The viewport's only so big.
Then it fails.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Everyone say bye, Tad. Goodbye, Tad.
Bye-bye.
Damn it, Tad. Goodbye.
Damn it, Tad. Goodbye. Man
bun Tad, says Isis. Leafy says, why did Josh and Tad make up the man bun? 2020 equals man buns. Because haircuts are a thing of the past. Damn 2020. I know, right? So it's so... Okay, so Tad's hair is really funny right now. Because the last, like, event that we did before quarantine happened was the Renaissance Fair. And Tad had been complaining every single day that he wanted a haircut. Every single day he's like, I want to cut my hair. My hair's getting so long. I need to cut my hair. Heather, take me to get my hair cut. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, well, babe, just go cut your hair. Like, you're a grown-up. You can go do that. And he just, like, it never happened because the Renaissance Fair, to be fair to him, it's really crazy busy. And he just never had time to go cut his hair. So then COVID happens and couldn't go get his hair cut. So he asked me to cut his hair. So I was like... I'm afraid to cut your hair because what if I screw it up? Like, I don't cut hair. I don't even cut my own. I dye my own hair, but I don't cut it. So I don't know if I can do this. So he was like, you have to cut my hair, Heather. It's driving me crazy. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll cut your hair. So I looked up like YouTube tutorials on how to like cut a guy's hair, and I got like all prepared. I bought all the stuff and like I have it here ready to go. And every time I'm like, are you ready? He's like, no, I'm scared. What if you ruin it? What if it doesn't grow back? So, he's living with the long hair now. You remember his haircut whining? That's right. You were there. I miss Barf. Me too. Barf is a lot of work, though. It is so much work. Isis says, I chopped my husband's hair, like a foot of it. I just reshaved the sides of Baby Bat's head and trimmed it and rebuzzed my Solomonster's hair. Wow, you could like start a second business with hair cutting, Isis. I don't do hair really, I just dye mine too. That's more than I've done. I have not cut hair ever. So kudos to you for cutting it so much. Tad's so dramatic. He is. That's why we love him. Where was I with the pin stuff? Oh, so pretty much, that's pretty much where we are now. We sent them all of the stuff. So here's what I sent them to get the glitter right. And it turned out this was not actually a very helpful guide. So I think next time I'll just like highlight where I want them to put glitter. Like, I think I'll just color it in with some sort of, I don't know. I'll color it in, like, I'll do like a multiply layer or something. I just realized, Catherine, are we doing the blue with glitter or just the snowflakes? Because I just realized we didn't say we wanted the blue to have, did we? I can't remember. But Catherine's giggling because she knows like the trouble we've been having trying to communicate this to them. But this is what we decided would be glitter. So like snowflakes, the horn, the sugar plums, the bells and the crown, and like the darker colors of Sugar Plum's hair. And then Marley gets the little white bobbly bits that are coming off of his antlers and off these leaves. The leaves, excuse me, and the bells. So now the hard part is done. Like the design is done. And we're just waiting for them to approve the art and get it to actually look like what we want. So they, for some reason, this manufacturer decided to redraw my art. And so one of the things I highly recommend if any of you guys are doing pins of your own is when they send you the art, don't just glance at it and be like, oh yeah, that looks good. Like you have to put it next to your art and compare it side by side, because there's going to be like a ton of little things that they miss. And it's not necessarily because they do a bad job or anything. It's just because there's a lot to keep track of here that anybody who, if it's not their art, they don't know it like the back of their hand like you do. So like, for example, with the Sugar Plum design, they had filled this spot in with gold for some reason. And that would make no sense because it's supposed to be like a break in the hair. So, and then also they had for some reason moved some of these leaves in front of the hair. But I wouldn't have noticed that if I had just kind of like glanced at it and been like, yep, that looks good. So I always recommend that you hold it up next to your actual art to double check and make sure everything. Catherine says, just the snowflakes. I think background would send them over the edge. Okay, yeah, I agree. Creature says, the edge is where the fun people live. Better to glitter out than fade away. My, hey, hey. And Catherine says, we're waiting for them to send us a fixed up pin design. Yes, we are. So typically, you're going to probably go back and forth a couple times with the manufacturer to make sure that everything is as you want it to be. So, for example, oh yeah, I want to talk about sizing, because that was another thing we talked about. When I sent them this for the first time, they didn't understand that Catherine and I wanted all of this to be metal. They thought it was going to be a color. And if I had not, like, gone through the color list and, like, compared every single color they had with the color I had on my list, I might have not noticed that. We might have not gotten metal pins like we wanted and had, like, this weird color in the background that would have looked really bad. It's kind of like a bad diarrhea color, like if it was enamel. No, it's not a good look. Fazag 327 has donated a free hug. Aww. Thanks for the hug. I miss hugs. And it's free for me. Thanks so much. Catherine says, it's also a bit hard because you're on a completely different time schedule. Yes, that is true. It's difficult because when they're getting back to us, that's when Catherine and I are going to bed. And I have like this whole ritual that I do in the morning now that helps me stay mindful and just like get into the process of working. So I don't usually get to my computer till like the early afternoon. So there is a bit of a time difference going on, but we did start on these pins way ahead of time so that we could guarantee some Christmas delivery. So always plan for a little bit more time than you think you need. So I'm glad that we did that. Creature says, most of us are in orange. That makes us cool. Yeah, sure. Are you talking about the orange of your name? Maybe? My hair used to be orange a long time ago. So then the last thing that we did was we talked about the size, which was a little bit confusing for both of us because I'm used to talking about the size in terms of height. And I realized that that wasn't going to work here. And the reason why is because the important thing about this design, so that they look good together, is that the circles are the same size. So holding them side by side, you can see that Marley is clearly a bigger pin design than Sugar Plum because the antlers go like, this is where this little blue line that I'm going to put here, that's where Sugar Plum stops. And that's where Marley stops, like up there. So Marley is bigger. So if, like, for example, we just tried to make them the same size. So if I made Sugar Plum bigger to fit that, well, now suddenly Sugar Plum circle is way bigger. And it looks really off, to me anyway. It doesn't look like it's a good pair. When they're the same size of circle, they look like they go together. So we had to figure out like what the diameter of the circle was to make sure that they understood that the size, that's the size that we're like basing everything on. And like Marley is 2 3/8 inches tall. Well, Sugar Plum's only 2 3/16 inches tall. But I think that having the circles be the same size was the most important. Creature says, yes, font is orange. Ah, yes. So that's where we are right now. We're doing the back and forth to kind of figure out, just kind of fine tweaking the design before it actually goes into production. Did any of you guys have any questions about the pin designs or the stories about the characters? I read the stories earlier, but I don't know if anybody was here yet when I did that. Catherine says, our awesome packaging has arrived. Oh, yes. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Our packaging they're like these really, really pretty, they're like metallic packages, right, Catherine? They look really pretty, guys. Like, it's gonna look like you're getting a present in the mail. Like, it's not even gonna be like in a box that, you know, and then you open it and it's wrapped. Like, it's gonna come wrapped. So it's so pretty. Creature says, how long is the pin? What body part is least painful to hold it securely? I would say your clothing would be the best place to put the pin. Or you can put it on a backpack. I know those are really popular. Metallic bubble envelopes, says Catherine. Yes. They're so pretty. Like, they're very sparkly looking, and I love them. So I got a frame, and I have like a backing board in it, and I've started pinning the pins through the backing board so that I can display them on the wall, and it's really pretty. Isis says, everything okay over there? That was a lot of noise. Yes, it's all okay. I was looking for this frame so I could show you my pins that I have framed, and like it all just fell over, but it's all okay. Pythia and Odin also like to rock pins on their jackets. Yes, I have them on my jackets, and when I go to conventions, when there are conventions, I'm wearing a lanyard. I'll put my pins on my lanyard. That's always really fun. I have a really pretty lanyard that I got from Annie Stag. That's my favorite one. And it's like a really high quality lanyard too. So I usually put my pins on that one. Isis says, ooh, I would love to see your pin frame eventually. I have to find it. I don't know where it ended up, and I'm afraid of knocking other stuff over. So that'll have to be for another day. You have pin banners. Ooh. What's a pin banner? Never heard of that. I've seen at conventions there are the kids that have like the backpacks that have like the open window in the back, and there's like this like see-through, I guess it's like a clear plastic kind of thing, and they put the pins on there. So if you have a service dog or emotional support animal, you can also decorate the vests with pins. You can! There's actually a person that I met at the Bay Area Renaissance Festival who has a service dog who wears a jacket, a very special jacket that is custom made, and they wanted to like start collecting my pins for that very reason. So here we are making more pins because they're fun. I have some other pin designs that I've done that aren't yet in production because the pin company that I was using, they really botched the art when they were like trying to show me what they wanted to do with it. So I've held off, but I can show you guys that if you want to see. You guys want to see some other pin designs that I'm going to be doing eventually once I find the right manufacturer? Catherine, you're going to have to tell me who we're using for these. Let me see. So this is going to be like Heather's greatest hits. Okay? So here is the dragon lantern pin. Oh, so cool. I love this pin, and it was really hard to get the art simplified enough for this, and they told me it still wasn't simplified enough. So I don't know if I'm gonna have to simplify it more or if it's just gonna have to be like a bigger pin. But this is what we got for the dragon lantern. It's my most popular print ever. So I took away all the scales, I simplified it. I might have to make some of the scales bigger and stuff. It's just like a really complicated design once you get into like where the dragon is. And for some reason they wanted to take out like this like filigree. And I was like, no, like that's actually not that bad. You guys can do that. I believe in you. Isis says, oh my god, that's amazing. Creature says it would be simpler if it was a pudgy baby dragon with tiny wings. It would be, but then it would look absolutely nothing like the painting. But that might be a really cool thing to do in the future. So this was actually an even more simplified version. This was what it looked. Oh, this is the alternate colors. So this is gonna be, this was my concept for like the special edition. And I love these colors. I think I like these colors more than the one that actually looks like the painting, because I feel like as a pin, these colors just pop a lot. Isis says, ooh, yes. So this is coming down the pipeline eventually. Like, I'm going to have to kickstart these at some point as well. So that's the dragon lantern. No, I don't need to save anything. And then we have some more. This one I'm super excited about because this was like the first design that I did for like this new collection. This is the Dreaming Kitsune. Come on, move over. This is the Dreaming Kitsune Pin. Where's the other colors? I want to show you the original. Okay, so this one is based on the original colors. There's a little mess up there, but I'll just pretend that's not there. So this pin design I'm super excited about because it's got like all my favorite colors in it. Spoopy Ghost Dragon, says Catherine, yes. Isis says, ah. And usually I like to show what I want the back of the pin to look like as well. So I include that. This is the Dreaming Kitsune from my painting from last year, or 2 years ago now. And this is the alternate color. So the funny thing about this piece is I did the design once and then I accidentally saved it at low res, so I had to do it again. So make sure when you're doing pins that you save it back up. You have the embellished art on your wall. That's right, you do. You were one of the ones that got the embellished print from the Kickstarter. So now it's gonna be a pin eventually. And then we also have, oh, this was I've decided I'm not gonna do this design because I don't really like it. But you guys tell me what you think. I decided that I didn't really like this design, so I wasn't gonna do it. But this is like a baby filigree fawn. I just don't feel like it's my best fawn drawing ever. So I just thought, meh, I don't know if I want to do this one. I'm just going to kind of hold it in my back pocket. These were the alternate colors. So this one was based on my piece, the Filigree Stag. I tried to do a pin of the stag. Do I have any sketches of that? However, that wasn't going to work. No, I don't have that here because it was just not a design that I could turn into a pin. Creature says, nah, not enough core. Isis says, I'm going to have a Terratoff banner. Yes, you are. Catherine says she thinks it's the colors. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just, for me, it's like the proportions. I don't feel like the proportions are what I would like. Like, it looks like the proportions are too realistic. Like, I would have liked to have pushed it a little bit more. But I agree, like, the colors aren't really my favorite either. So I'll probably revisit that and make something else to kind of fill in that idea. So this is the Filigree Stag. I was gonna make a pin based on this, but it just wasn't gonna be a very good pin design because it was just gonna, first of all, you can't have like open space like this, so I would have had to fill it in with something, and when I experimented with putting a circle behind it, it just didn't look right. So this was like the original kind of concept that I was going with, but meh. Isis says, that is not my favorite. It doesn't look enough like the art I have. Yeah, I agree. So that one was not my favorite. Then we've got, this was one day, I have a dream to have a pin collector tier for my Patreon. And I had done all of these in anticipation of doing that. However, I then realized the upfront cost it was going to cost me, because ideally I'd like to make the pins ahead of time so that I can have all the pins I need for a year and then ship them out when they're ready to go, because they can take a long time to make And so these were going to be like the pins that I did as a reward for those who have been pledged to that tier for a while. So the brass one was going to be like, as soon as you signed up, you got this brass pin. If you were there for 6 months on that tier, you get the silver pin. If you had been in the tier for a year, then you get the gold one. Unfortunately, I don't have the kind of capital I would need to be able to do it for a whole year ahead of time. So keep those pledges coming, and maybe one day I can do this. Isis says, Terratoff pin, yes! One day. I'm believing that one day I will have enough residual income, passive income, and enough pledges that I can actually do this tier, because I would love to have a pin tier. It's just, I don't want to commit to something that I can't do well. So I'm going to have to wait on it for a little while, but one day, that's my dream. This was a concept I had for a unicorn pin, and I decided to nix this idea as well because I just wasn't in love with the idea of it. So let me find, where's the, so this is like the regular pin would be the white unicorn with golden roses behind it. And then I was going to have like the black unicorn be the alternate color. So some of the problems with this one was it had like a lot of colors. The more colors you have, the more expensive it is. And I really should have like knocked down some of these colors. But I also just was not like crazy in love with this design. Like if I was going to do a unicorn pin, I wanted my first unicorn pin to be something I absolutely loved. So Catherine says, you seriously need to meet Hera. She looks like a baby Terratoff creature. I know! I need to meet Hera. I need to come have a visit so I can see all of the wolf pack. She does, from the pictures though, she does look like a little Terratoff wolf. She's so cute. And do I have any other pins? Oh, this is one I actually like. This one is one I'd like to make. This is Wida the Owl. So this is Wida's usual colors. Wida is an owl from my World of Terratoff. He's like a canon character. He's the companion bird of Win, who is the albino princess of the realm, and so they both love to stay indoors and read by a cozy fire. And one of my most popular paintings was Wida with the book, but it was such a small painting I can't make big prints of it, unfortunately. So I really wanted to do pins. So this was the canon color, and then I was going to do an alternate color. And some people were telling me, you should make it all white, like Hadwig or whatever that bird from that other story's name is. However, this is not a snowy owl. This is a barn owl. Barn owls don't look like that. Barn owls have this kind of color. Or this kind of color. Sometimes they're black. So maybe I should do a black version. This is another design that I really like. And it doesn't have too many colors, I don't think. You need the owl for Baby Bat. Owls are their favorite. I know I have to make these pins. Baron is here. Welcome, Baron von Meowington. Hello. Oh, thank you. Thank you for liking my hair today. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, says Baron. Guys, it's Baron. I've missed you. How have you been? Are you having a good spooky holiday season? So this is another pin. Here's some ideas I was kicking around for it. Let me see if I can find... Where's the colors? Give me some colors. Are you going to show me anything at all? Is there just like nothing in this? Oh, I have the I had the white turned on. That's why I couldn't see shit. Here was like some experimentation I did with it just to kind of like figure out what I wanted. And this was what the original artwork looked like, if you guys are curious. So I had to do a lot of simplification because this guy just was like a lot of texture. It's a lot of like kind of fuzzy lines. So simplifying that was hard. And I was like really worried that I was going to kind of lose the charm in the original piece, but I think I pulled it off okay. For a pin, I think it looks pretty good. Why is it so awkward, Baron? So that's a design that I do like. Do you guys like the owl? I know Isis does. And then, so I got like all these designs. Yes, that's all of them. I've got all these designs just like waiting to be a reality. This is the one pin I do currently have that I'm very proud of. This is the Lisianthus pin. I love this pin that I did. This is this is like one of the this is an example of something that the manufacturer might send you that you have to like edit. So like I had to point out where they put in the wrong colors and fix that. So this is my little baby, and this one's only 4 colors. Ideally, I think if I would like to get those other designs down to fewer colors, because that also makes it a lot more doable for the manufacturer. So yeah, that is all the stuff I got going on with pins. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. It's been really great to see my Twitch family again. I love seeing all of the familiar names popping up in the chat. I'm going to have this video up on YouTube later. My name is Heather R. Hitchman. I'm a fantasy artist creating the paranormal fairy tale realm of Terratoff. Don't forget to check out all of those links below to follow me and to check out the rest of my realm of Terratoff. Creature says, thanks for sharing some of your live self with us. Of course, I got all dressed up for you guys. I can show you guys actually what I'm doing with my pins. So give me a second. I'll show you. No, it's not here. Oh, Jiminy Cricket. Oops. I don't know if you guys heard that big bang, but a lot of stuff just fell over. But luckily nothing broke. I was trying to find